Hello and welcome back to ISpeakSpokeSpoken. My name is James and I am an English teacher and a native British English speaker. So, today I am going to be talking about modals in English, and we're going to be talking about the complete user guide of modals. So, everything you will need to know about modals is here. So, we use modals for stating essential information in a short way. So maybe you don't want to say 5, 6 different words to say this one thing, but you can say this all in one word. We use this to show possibility. We show obligation, ability, necessity, permission, prohibition, suggestion, deduction, and certainty. And we have multiple modal verbs which can do this job. So, quite often we take off the to. So if we say a sentence like, I can do it, we don't say I can to do it. So the verb after the modal verb shouldn't begin with a to. It should just have the main form of the verb, you see? So, first let's begin with can or could. So can is a modal verb and it expresses possibility, it expresses an ability, and it expresses permission to do something. So you may be asking someone for some permission and they say, yeah, you can do that. That's definitely something you can do. So the form is, so when we want to say that someone cannot do something, it's the negative form for this. We'll say cannot. Can you say cannot? Cannot, yes, and just so you know, throughout the video, whenever you see the red words here, these are words that are very commonly mispronounced in English, so they're there for you to practice, and you can follow along with me, you can rewind, and you can also just practice in your own time and just make sure you're practicing that pronunciation. But if your pronunciation isn't British English, you can, that's absolutely fine as well. So that's perfect. So cannot. Can you say cannot? Cannot. So this is two words that are almost put into one. So can and not. Cannot. Lovely. So next we say can't, which is pretty much cannot, but can't. Can't. Fabulous. Good. So could is the past tense form for can. So it means that in the past you could do this. And we also use it when we want to ask politely for something. So could I have that? Could I have this? And it's a nice way to ask for something and use requests in the present. So could not or couldn't. There you go. So the negation for this is could not or it's couldn't. So here are some examples using the modal verb can. So I can speak 3 languages. So if you were using other words, you may say I have the ability to speak 2 languages, but we don't say this because we have this nice convenient modal verb can. And this is how we use can. So we use it as to be able to. So I can speak 3 languages. Okay, so you can't smoke in here. You are not able to. You are not allowed to smoke in here. But we use can't as a different form for this. So can you say smoke? Can you repeat that word? Smoke. Smoke. Very good job. Very good job. She could play the piano when she was only 5. So remember, could is the past tense form for this. So we say she could in the past play piano when she was only 5. So she can probably still play the piano, but that was in the past that she could do that. That's perfect. So they couldn't come to the party last night. So last night, in the party that you were at, these people couldn't go there. They couldn't be there, which means they didn't have the ability to turn up to that party. Can you repeat party? Party. Party. And if you look up at the top right-hand corner of the video, you will see a link to all of the things that you see here on the board, there is also a test that you can take and let us know how you do down in the comments. You can also see it down in the description below, and always let us know because we want to hear. Could you please lower the music? So it's the nice question that we're asking, the polite question. Could you please lower the music? It's a bit too loud right now. Are you able to, in a nice way, you're asking this question, can you please lower the music? Could I borrow your pen? Could I borrow your pen? So you're once again asking something. Could I? Can is a bit more, it could be seen as a bit ruder. You see, like it's like we want to say could as a way to soften the question. We want to make the question a bit softer. So, could I borrow? Can you repeat borrow? Borrow. We have a bit of a situation in the middle there. If you want to speak British English, you want to kind of keep the R as flat as possible. Borrow, borrow. If you're going American, borrow. Like you're going to round it off. But British English, you want to keep it as flat as possible. Fabulous. Next up, we have will. Will is used when we are promising something or offering something. So in the moment that you are in, if someone asks you for something and asks you for a favor or something like this, you can say, I will do that. So, yes, we also use it for some predictions. So we might say, it will rain tomorrow. And this is a guess, but you're stating it as a fact, you see. So here are some examples. I will start my new job on Monday. So you're saying that on Monday, that is when you are definitely going to start that job. So can you say the word job? Job. Very good. Can you say the word Monday? Perfect. Next up, he won't be able to join us tomorrow. Fabulous. So in the future, he won't be able to do that because this is the negation for will. Will and won't is the opposite there. So you will not be able to do that, which is won't. There we go. So if you can see here, so will not or won't. So he won't be able to join us tomorrow, unfortunately. Will you marry me? Is a common question that happens around the world. And you can ask this question with will. In the future, will you marry me? So can you say the word marry? Marry. Remember, you're going from the vowel sound a to e. So marry. Think of it that way. Because vowel sounds often carry the word. There we go. So I'm sure you will love this movie. So in the future, when you see this movie, I am sure the fact that you will love the movie. There is the fact there. Next up, we have the modal verb would. So we use would quite similarly to how we use will, but this is quite often used in a hypothetical situation, and we use it to make a polite request and refer to future events in the past. And the negative form for this is would not or wouldn't. Yes, good job. Okay, so how would we use this in a sentence? So, I would travel the world if I won the lottery. You see? So here's our conditional situation. So I would travel the world. So this is what I would do if I won the lottery. So given the hypothetical situation that I won the lottery, that is what I would do. That is the fact of what I would do if I did that, if that hypothetical situation happened. She wouldn't eat that if she knew what it was. So if she knew what this was, so she doesn't, so this is a hypothetical situation of her knowing that. But if she did, she wouldn't eat it. So we're using something that is a fact of something that would happen if the hypothetical situation was true. There we go. So we use these quite often when we're trying to say something that would happen in a certain situation that isn't true. So let's have a look at some of these words. Can you say eat? Eat. Lovely. Remember that this I, this E, is lengthened. So eat, eat. Very good. And do remember, I haven't said all of them, but you can go back and copy how I said them when I did say them, and you can also go over them yourself as well. That's perfect. So, would you mind if I opened the window? So, this is used as a question. You're kind of stating a hypothetical there. So, if I open the window, would you mind? So, I haven't opened it just yet, but if I did, would you mind? And this is often used as a request. So you're requesting to open the window. That is your subtext in what you're saying. Lovely. Can you say the word window? Window. Perfect. Perfect. So he said he would finish the work by Friday. So he said he would finish the work on Friday. So he is stating that on Friday in the past, someone said that they would finish the work on that day. Whether they did or they didn't, we don't know, but we know that that is the day that that person promised that they would do something. So maybe on Friday they said, I will do that. But because we're talking about it in the past, we're saying he said that he would do that. You see? Lovely. So next up we have the modal verb may. So may is used when we're talking about possibility of something. We want to ask for someone's permission, and the negation for this is may not. And we can't take this down to mayn't or anything, it's just may not. Okay, so here are some examples of when we use may. I may go to the beach this weekend. So you're stating that there is a possibility that you might do that. I may do that. There's I may not. This is how we use this. So can you say the word beach? Remember, the E is lengthened. So beach, beach. Can you say that? Nice, very good. All right, and that's the EA that is lengthened there. So, you may not enter the restricted area. So this is someone who is not giving someone permission to do that. So you don't have permission to go into the restricted area because it's restricted, you see. Can you repeat the word restricted? Restricted. Perfect. And what about area? Area. Very good, very good. May I take your coat? So this is a nice question to say to someone. Maybe you go into a restaurant and they may say to you, hello, good sir, may I take your coat? And you're asking someone if you can do something. Can you repeat the word coat? Coat. Remember, your lips are going forward. Coat. Absolutely perfect. It may not be as easy as you think. So it might. This is in place of a might. So it may not be as easy as you think. You may have one idea, but it may not be what you think. You see? So there's a possibility. That's what it's stating there. A possibility of not. Okay. Next, let's go to should. Should, we use this for advice. We use it to make recommendations or express expectations. So we would say, okay, you should go to this restaurant. So if you've asked someone to recommend you to go somewhere, they may recommend using this modal verb here. Our negation is should not, or can you guess? It's shouldn't, right? So that's perfect. So we can now negate the sentence and also say the normal sentence too. So let's see some of our examples here. So you should check your answers before submitting the test. So this is something that is recommended to check the answers before you submit the test, because if you don't check the answers, there's a possibility that you may have missed something, you see? So the should is making a big point here to say that this is what we would recommend. This is what we expect of you. And here is some advice of what you should do. And can you say the word answers? Remember, it's the plural form, so we're using the S at the end here. So answers, not answer, answers. And we end that with a Z. It's almost like a Z here. It's answers, not answers. You see? Perfect. So, he shouldn't drive so fast in the rain. It's not recommended at all. And the advice is to not drive that fast in the rain, because if you drive that fast in the rain, it could be quite a dangerous thing, you see, because you can't see very well, the roads are slippery, and you don't want to drive that fast in the rain. So you should be driving slowly. Lovely. Should we call them to confirm our appointment? So you're asking here, you're making a question and you're asking someone to give you a recommendation or some advice. So you're saying to someone, should we call them? Like, what should we do? Should we call them? That's perfect. So lovely. Let's have a look here. So can you say the word confirm? Confirm. Confirm means to make sure of something. So to confirm. There we go. Do you know the word appointment? Can you say that word? Appointment. Appointment. So that is the date or time that you have set the time aside to do that thing. So you've made an appointment, and that's the time that you have set aside for that meeting there. So I shouldn't have said that to her. So this is saying that it's not advisable for me to have said that. It wasn't the right thing to say. And if I'd asked someone for their advice on that, they wouldn't have said that I should have done that. It's not the right thing to have said. Can you say said? Remember, it's not pronounced said. It's not pronounced siad. It's said. Said, like read. Said. Perfect. Good job. Next up, we have the modal verb might. So, might is used to express a slight possibility. It also makes a polite suggestion. And the negative form for this is might not. And once again, we don't have a contraction here. We can't say mightn't. There we go. So mightn't isn't. So we would say, I might go to the party if I'm not too tired. So there's a possibility that I'm not too tired, and in that possibility, I might go to the party. So if that happens, then that will happen. She might not be the right person for the job. There's a slight possibility, and maybe she isn't the right person for that job, because we don't fully know yet. Maybe we need to see some other candidates for the job, but we don't at this point think that she's the right person for the job. Okay, might I suggest a different approach? So you're kind of saying there's a slight possibility that I can make that, and this is used as a polite way of saying this sentence. So might I suggest, it's once again a softer way of making this sentence. Instead of saying, I'm going to make a suggestion here, you could say, might I suggest this? And it's a much nicer way of saying it. Can you say different? Different. Lovely. Very good. So remember, everything that we have on this board, you can click on the link up there, and you have all of the content that is behind me in this video, and also more, as you can do a quiz over there, and you can do that all for free, and it's all there for you. So let us know how you do in the comments. You can also get it down in the description below. Fabulous. They might not arrive on time due to the traffic. So there's a possibility that they may not be on time, And the reason for that could be because of the traffic. So it's kind of stating a possibility there. Like, there's a possibility that it may not, there's a possibility that it may. It might not arrive. Perfect. So here we go. Let's look at must. Must talks about obligation. It talks about necessity, and it's a strong word. We use this word when someone has to do something. So we use it instead of have to, you know? Like, so we say, you have to do something. We might want one word to actually say that. So we would say, you must do that. You must do your homework by Friday. You must have this done. It's a imperative. It's telling you that you have to do something there. Here are some examples of how we use must in English. You must wear a seatbelt while driving. It's absolutely imperative. It's so important that you wear a seatbelt while you're driving, because if you don't, the results could be fatal, you see. Can you say the word seatbelt? Seatbelt. Seatbelt. Very good. Very good. Fabulous. We mustn't forget to pay the bills. If we forget to pay the bills, what happens is not something that is going to be fun, because we're going to be charged a lot of money. So we mustn't, we must not. And that is the negative for must. So we must not forget to pay the bills. Okay, he must study if he wants to pass the exam. So, considering the fact that he wants to pass the exam, so if that is a fact, then to do that, he must study. That is an important thing for him to do, otherwise he won't pass. Okay, they must not disturb the animals in the zoo, because they're animals, you know, like if you disturb them, you're going into their home and you don't want to disturb them. So, be quiet when you go into the zoo, and you must not disturb them. It's very important. So, can you say the word disturb? Disturb. Remember, disturb. Very good. Lovely. So, need to and have to. So, these ones here are a little bit different to the other ones. So, these ones are used with the to. So as you can see, as I said at the beginning, most of them, we don't say you must to wear a seatbelt. We just say you must wear a seatbelt. So here we actually use to and to again. So on have to and need to. So these are semi-modals, and they are used to talk about necessity or obligation. And they are semi-modals, as I just said, because we're adding the to in these. So we would use, I need to get some rest. It's something that is a necessity. That's like, if I don't get some rest, I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. Like it's not going to be fun. You have to see this movie. It's fantastic. So you're giving someone a recommendation here, but this recommendation is disguised as something you're telling them to do. And this shows how excited you are about that. So can you say fantastic? Fantastic. Perfect. Perfect. She doesn't need to come if she's busy. So it's not something that she needs to do. It's not a necessity or an obligation. It's something that she has the choice of. So she doesn't need to. There you go. So can you say busy? Busy. Remember, we have the you here, but we don't want to say buzzy. That's what we say a bee is doing. We say busy. Busy. Very good job. Great. So we don't have to decide right now. So it's not something that we have a necessity or an obligation to do. We can do it later, or we can do it another time at any point, but we don't have to do it right now. And that's how we use these semi-modals in a way to make these points. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And this was the video on modals in English, the complete user guide. And today we looked at all of those. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and share. And we've been I Speak Spoke Spoken. I've been James, and joyfully...